Moving on to our next speaker, a technologist having worked with one of the Fortune 500 companies, an author of multiple published books. He is a multiple award winning innovator, including recognition from GitHub and Angel Hack. Please put your hands together for Ganesh Katta.
Crazy, crazy. They called me crazy when I said I wanted to be an artist who understands the existence and life, the beauty, of course. Crazy. They called me crazy when I said I wanted to be a technologist who has a desire to improve and innovate technology. Crazy. They called me crazy when I said I wanted to read philosophy and practice oration or being an orator. They called me crazy. Oh, three crazies. Crazy, right? So, I'm Ganesh Katta. Today, I'm standing before you. I'm not just Ganesh Katta. I'm a son. I'm a brother. I'm a friend. I'm an author. I'm an innovator or a technologist, as you call. I'm an orator. I'm an Homo sapien. Okay? Homo sapien. Today, I'm standing before you because in the years of my experience, I was able to do a lot of roles and responsibilities. Roles and responsibilities. Over the years, I have realized it's not just one role. I have been an artist manager, I have been an developer, I have led teams into building amazing technologies which can impact societies. There are many roles that I've in. I've been an author, I've been a mentor. So when they said today's team, I was thinking, over the past 5 years, what have I done really? And how was I able to do or take up all the roles and responsibilities? The real question was how. Then I realized it was pretty simple. There were a lot of realities that I had to deal with. There were a lot of mindsets that I had to deal with, and not just deal with. I had to have a lot of mindsets to complete that. And then I had to have a lot of thoughts. When I say thoughts, it's not just my thoughts. Taking thoughts of all the people where I can create impact. So I've been able to do that. I've taken 6 to 7 roles in the last 5 years. I've inspired over 300 people. Oh, you can go with 1,000, but that's fine. So, if I was able to do that, the real question is, are you guys able to do that too? And the answer is yes, even you guys can do that too. So, how can you do that? It's pretty simple. Over the years, I have learned a lot of principles, starting from psychology to philosophy and technology, and of course, generative AI that is going right now. So, when I ask the question how, as the universe works with the laws of mathematics, physics, and chemistry, the way our mind works with neurons, I have realized there was one basic principle that I have used consciously, unconsciously, or of course, I've trained myself subconsciously. And it was the most notorious one and the most underrated, which is never used to its highest potential. You know what it is? The most basic and the simplest one. You're going to laugh after I show you that. Decision making. Damn, is the most basic thing. I understand that. So, when I say decision making, what is the importance of it? Trust me, it is the foundation for every action you will be taking, every choices you will be doing. So I'll give you a more deeper dive example of how it works. And by the way, it's my own formula. So yeah. So when I say decision making, it starts off with situational awareness, which is directly influencing your judgment. And when I say judgment, it's not just judgment, it's going to influence your choices. And those choices directly lead to the consequences that you want. And when I say consequences, people think it's either you win or you lose. But to be honest, it's not win or lose. It's you win or else you learn. There's no middle ground. Trust me, there's no middle ground. So, looking at the steps, decision making is pretty simple, but there's awareness, there's judgment, there are choices, there's consequence, and there is either you win or you lose. So, how are you going to do that? After studying with all the examples and the experiences that I've gathered over the years, I came up with a pretty simple formula, that is, decision making is equals to logic plus limits multiplied by instinct plus innovation. I'm sorry, I'm a computer science engineer and also artist, so I have to integrate software and formulas, mathematics, and all the things that I can so that everyone can understand something better. So, decision making is logic plus limits multiplied by instinct plus innovation. Let's go much deeper into it and understand. So, the first one is logic. When I say logic, it's rational decision making, which is based on structure and fact based. When I say structure and facts based, what are included in that exactly? Let me give you the pointers easily. It's gathering data, it's going to patterns, it's the history. I know when you say AI, people are going to say, yes, it's gathering data, it's gathering patterns, it's history. But being more precise, we work in the same way. When I say gathering data, it's our skills, it's our mindset. When I say patterns, it's our habits and the consistency that we have. When I say history, what are you yesterday and what are you tomorrow and what are you going to be tomorrow? So yeah. And then you have the limits. When I say limits, it's going to be bounded reality or rationality, you can say. And when I say you need to acknowledge your limits, because you cannot run away from it, but you can acknowledge it and aspire and inspire it to embrace the limits that you have. So, what are the constraints or the limits that usually every individual has? Time, information, resources. And when I say resources, it could be your books, it could be the knowledge, it could be the skill set that you have. So, time, information, and resources. These two are added and then multiplied with the instinct, which is intuitive decision making, of course, which relies on gut feeling. And when people say gut feeling, it's not some magical term. Oh, I have the gut feeling and I know it's right. No, that does not work that way, because gut feeling is drawn on experience. Let's say one of the softwares that we handle, of course, impacts over thousands of people. If I say my gut feeling says that I like this button, so thousands of people are going to like that. Is it okay if I launch it in Fortune 500 companies or anywhere? No, it does not work that. I need to go to rigorous testing, and see a lot of things. For that, I need to have experience. And how does experience come? Solving case studies, looking at people, understanding what exactly is happening and what exactly are the challenges that other people have faced and how you can stop that and make it much better. So this will be added with the final, that is innovation. When I say innovation, they say it's creative decision making. And when I say creative decision making, trust me, once you're familiar with logic, limits, and instinct, trust me, innovation is not far ahead. Innovation is not far ahead. And innovation becomes familiar, and there are no special skills required again. And now, just to sum it up a little bit, when I say making a decision, there are 4 steps, or the 4 that you have seen. That is gathering data or patterns, working within constraints, and these constraints are directly proportional to the consequences or the impact. When I say constraints, people always believe, as I did mention, these are the limitations, but you can embrace that and make it much better. And then drawn on experience, which of course is your gut feeling and instinct. And then think outside the box for a better outcome, which means you'll be more precise once you have data, once you have your instinct, once you have your constraints clear. So this is what decision making is. So now the next question is, okay, I have done the decision making. Let me show you a basic application that I have done many years ago. Let's say someone is trying to start a startup or agency or a business. So I'm going to keep it pretty simple. And how does it work? So first you go with the logic, which is analyze the market and then trends and then customers needs. And then you have the limits where you set the budget, you look at the team. Do you have the right set of budget to do that? And then instinct. You trust your gut with case studies. You look at people, what they have done, and what are the challenges or the mistakes that they have done, and how you can overcome that with your skills and the instinct. And then innovation. Here's an interesting thing. Over the years, when I've heard about innovation, people say there are a lot of nuances in the innovation, there are a lot of things that you need to do. But being more precise, I've realized innovation has two things. One, either you advance the available features, that is upgrade, and number two of the innovation is pretty simple. You create something that has never existed. You can take this example maybe in technology, maybe in books, maybe in philosophy, maybe in science, social, a number of subjects, whatever it is going to be pretty simple. Two things: either you are going to advance or upgrade the current features that something has, or you're going to create something that has never existed. So it's loading. When I say, okay, I have given you the whole formula, decision making, you multiply it with that, and all the nuances. So if you're going to follow that, do you think you will be successful? Are we sure we're going to do that? Of course, the formula seemed pretty simple. I've been doing really good. I'm working with this client and I'm doing with that, working with the US, Europe, whatever the call you call it. But do you think it works out well? No, it does not work really well in that way. Because although you have your gut feelings, you have the case studies, the actions always changes. The reality is always dynamic. So if you're doing something here, something happens in China or in US, and it's going to influence you, and it has its own nuances. For example, because being an author, I did find this stats of few authors and also one of the people, uh, the tennis player Roger Federer. How many of you know him? Oh, we got tennis fans here. That's great. So I think you have seen his commencement speech at Dartmouth, where he said nearly half of the games that he played, he have lost it, which is nearly 45%, and he just won 55%, and he never won 100%, to be more precise. Which means winning 55%, he has over 100 plus single tennis championship, and then he also has 20 Grand Slam, which you are already aware. Imagine 55% is not always consistent. You're going to have breaks, you're going to have time where it's not going to work, you're going to have time when it's going to work. And then the other interesting, being an author, I should always acknowledge them. William Golding. You know how many times he was rejected by the publication house? How many of you know William Golding? Okay, what about Lord of the Flies, which was adapted as movies? Yeah, William Golding is the author, and he was rejected 21 times by the publication house. Imagine what happened if he gave up in the fifth or sixth time or 20th time. Will there be 21 or 22, or we would have these movies? No. So what I'm trying to say is, first, if you got your formula right, you have your skill set to do things. Because once you're ready for the opportunity can struck anytime, and you'll be ready. So if there's anything I can leave you with, it's going to my favorite quote, and that's what I have written. So yeah, if you aspire to inspire a billion people, you must outwork a million, learn from 100, and draw inspiration from one. That is discipline. You have discipline, you have habits, you have habits, you have consistency, you have consistency. The outcome is going to be in your hand, although it can take maybe few minutes here and there, but it's going to be in your hand. So thank you. I'm Ganesh Katta. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Katta, for that truly inspiring talk. Your insights on balancing technical expertise with creativity and experience are truly valuable.
Absolutely. Your journey shows how merging these two can lead to groundbreaking innovations.
Now we have Mr. Katta for the award presentation ceremony.